This is question 55 of the biology section from the 2018 NSAA paper. In this question, we're told that we have a graph here which shows how 4 variables change along with distance down a river after we have a source of pollution which has entered the river. So we have our quantities of these 4 variables, the oxygen level, the level of fish, algae and bacteria, and we have distance downstream. Before we go any further, let's have a look at what seems to be happening here. After the point of pollution, there appears to be a gradual rise, rising to a peak at about 0.2 in the graph in the level of algae and bacteria, but there's a drop to the point of nothing in the population of fish, and there is a dip in the oxygen levels. Okay, so we're then asked which indicator species could be expected to be found in large numbers at points 1, 2 and 3 in our graph. And our options at the various points are bloodworm or stonefly larvae. Now we need to know the distinction between these two because these two are representative of whether or not a particular water system is polluted. So if you have a polluted river, you'll expect to find more bloodworm, whereas stonefly larvae are only found where there are no signs that pollution has affected an ecosystem. So what we need to be looking for in our graph are signs that the ecosystem has been affected in line with the effect of pollution. So if we have a look at our graph here, things like an algal bloom and the increase in bacteria are associated with pollution. So we can see that especially around point 2, indicating that the biome has been affected by the pollution, rather the ecosystem. Similarly, the fact that the fish population has dwindled to nothing indicates that around point 2 we have a considerable impact on the ability of fish, and therefore of vulnerable indicator species like stonefly larvae, to be found. So we wouldn't expect to find stonefly larvae at point 2, but we would find it at points 1 and 3 because these appear to be unaffected. The fish population is high, the algal and bacterial population is low, and the oxygen population is about where it is. So we can see that the only affected region is point 2, so that could go with bloodworm, and points 1 and 3 go with stonefly larvae, and that gives us our answer, option F. It's also worth noting that we do have pollution at point 1, which appears to be not detected by our indicator species, and that shows the limitations of using indicator species rather than chemical analysis techniques when it comes to identifying pollution within a river, because there is a source of pollution at point 1, it's just not been detected by the ecosystem. It only grows to the point where it impacts the ecosystem at point 2. So our answer is option F.